Welcome to Paper Trails, a podcast by Albemarle Paper about restaurants, industry news, and entrepreneurship. Hosted by Nick Kalogeromitros. Each episode features insights from industry leaders, business owners, and experts sharing what it takes to grow and succeed.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Paper Trails podcast. I am your host, Nick Kalogeromitros, and this is Season 5, Episode 5 with Tiffany Sears, and we are here with the Sears Group real estate firm.
Correct.
Okay, so we are new friends. Okay, we met through some mutual friends, and we're here to talk about your journey. We're here to talk about success, mindset, just peak performers, and just how to grow and build a business. Obviously, you guys know with the Paper Trails podcast, we are a hospitality podcast on people's stories, but we love sprinkling in just high achievers. You know, you guys have seen it in the past episodes. We've had professional athletes. We've had CEOs of companies. And so today we're with Tiffany. We'll talk a little bit about real estate, your story, maybe the state of real estate, what you're seeing out in the market, and we will go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for being a guest.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
So, all right, let's talk a little bit about Tiffany.
Okay.
Where are you from? You from Charlotte?
I am born and raised right here in
Are
Charlotte.
you?
Yep, Queen City.
Okay.
All day long.
All right. So, so I'm sure you've seen changes in the city, right?
Growth.
I have worked probably in Charlotte the last 10 years, 12 years.
Okay.
And just in the last 10, 12 years, I have seen changes. Now, I don't live far from here. I live in Salisbury. So,
Okay.
I'd go to Hornets games in the 90s when the stadium was off Tyvola.
They just retired Dale Curry's jersey the other night.
They did.
Fantastic.
I remember seeing Dale and, Larry Johnson and Alonzo and all those guys. But you've seen way more than I have. So
It's insane.
let's talk a little bit about maybe growing up in Charlotte. Any thoughts? What area did you grow up in? What was it like? Give us a little context on who Tiffany Sears is.
Well, born and raised right here in Charlotte. Love this city. I mean, I cannot explain to you how much this city means to me. I met my husband here. We had our children here. This has just been, it's home. It like wraps its arms around you and just gives you a little hug. This city has changed so much, and I personally love to see the growth. Now, some folks may not because traffic increaes, but that's okay. 77 has always been crazy. It's not going to change. It just is.
It'll always be crazy.
It's always going to be crazy.
Deal with it,
just
right?
But growing up, like I remember Trade and Tryon was where all of the department stores were, the little mom and pop shops. And during the holidays, you could go up there and see the window displays of all the Christmas decorations. That's gone now, but there's still life. And it's come back with a vengeance, and I just love it.
Absolutely. I also like the growth. I think, I think there's so much with the construction, with the traffic on all that, comes opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Comes life. At least it's not a dying city. It's a growing city. The food scene has gotten better. You know what I mean? I see it as a very positive thing. Here's the benefit. The benefit is we also have a great suburb surrounding the city if you don't like that life, right? So,
well, and I will say that there was a point in time where Uptown Charlotte, and it is Uptown for those of you all that are confused by that, it is Uptown, was just completely lifeless.
Yeah.
When the banks moved in, there was nothing to do after 5 p.m. And then they brought back the epicenter. They created that. Some controversy there after a while, but we started to see businesses really start to pop back up, and the life started to happen again after 5 p.m. and on the weekends, and that's just really driven, people creating a lifestyle here in the uptown area of Charlotte. And because I think some people are like, oh no, I live that every single day, 9 to 5 at work. I want to go someplace that's a little bit quieter for home life. So we do see the perimeter city starting to really grow and thrive, and it's just amazing to watch.
Let's double click real fast. You mentioned the epicenter.
Yeah.
Okay. So
maybe I shouldn't have.
What do you know any plans? But I know there's some rumblings, like things are starting.
There have been rumblings.
It's been closed for a little while. How long has it been closed for?
Oh gosh,
5 years? 6 years?
Years. I mean, I don't necessarily know if the premise behind the epicenter was probably the best originally. Let's just put 10, 12 bars in one spot and let people roam. Like, I don't know if that was great.
Sure.
I did enjoy going to a couple of places there.
Sure.
Like, you know, Bubble was fantastic. It was a champagne bar.
Yeah.
But I think that there's been conversation about it being bought, not being bought. I don't know if there's really clarity on it, but having a place where people can go and have fun with lots of different restaurant opportunities, I think it's great. Like, why would we not want to have some additional entertainment areas uptown that are walkable? I think that's one thing.
So close to the Hornet Stadium. There's a lot of,
we just need thought into what.
Yes, thought and planning. Okay, whoever's in charge of that. Thought. So, okay, so you're from Charlotte.
Yes.
Life before real estate? What did you do before real estate?
My background is in education.
Okay.
So I was a classroom teacher for years. I taught kindergarten and third grade.
Okay.
Then my family moved to Delaware for 10 years, and I worked for an education nonprofit after teaching for a couple years up there. When we had an opportunity to relocate again, the only obvious option was to come back to Charlotte.
Okay.
So immediately got in the car and just like, let's go home. And came back, and I was still working for the nonprofit. Got my real estate license by mistake, I will say. I fell into it. I went to an interest meeting with my husband's cousin because she wanted to get her license. Okay. And I was just plain wing woman.
Okay, you were just the support.
I was the driver. I just drove to the event, and just thought, well, why not? And maybe something, it could be something I could do once I retire down the road. It could be fun. Got my license, and she did not, which is interesting.
What piqued your interest at the interest meeting? That was like, okay, did anything catch your attention, or was it just like, okay, this might be something cool to do to have in my back pocket?
Well, I think there's always this excitement about seeing homes. But I don't think I really understood the importance of what real estate can do for people, how that can translate into generational wealth for families. And that's what excited me. I've always wanted to have a job where I save the world in some shape, form, or fashion, going from education to nonprofits. Was real estate really that? Okay. And after spending a little bit of time talking to the instructors, the folks that were presenting, and then, when I got my license and hung it with a brokerage, it's like, oh no, there's more to this than just buying and selling houses and going inside beautiful properties. It really is about how we use and look at real estate as wealth.
Okay. All right. So you saw the potential of it, piqued your interest.
Oh yeah.
Got your license.
And just started.
She didn't.
And she didn't. She did eventually.
Okay.
Yes, did eventually. But
shout out to the cousin.
Yes.
Shout out to the cousin out there.
But I still had a full-time job.
Okay.
So I was
so like nothing changed for you.
Nothing changed.
You just kept working and just had your real estate license.
Still kept working. Got a few clients here or there. Had to figure out what was going to work for me, because they will tell you the old school methods of real estate: cold calling, for sale by owner, door knocking, and I wasn't doing any of that. That just wasn't my thing. So I had to figure out what was going to work for me to bring me a genuine, authentic client base, because I did not want it to be transactional. That's just not who I am.
Sure.
So we decided that we really wanted to let's get into this a little bit. I started doing some vendor shows, some trade shows, and got clients that way. And then 2020 hit, and I was laid off from my W-2 job. And I woke up and said, I will never, ever again have someone in charge of how I feed my family. And it just became something that I was going to do.
Okay, so you had a pretty bold stance.
Dove in.
On, you know what, let's make this work.
We're gonna do it. There's no plan B.
So we're moving this from neutral to some gears. Or, you might have been in like maybe a first gear, but you're like, we're going through the gears and I'm doing this full time.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been in real estate now how long?
About 8.5 years.
8.5 years. Okay, so let's
It
talk
seems
about.
crazy when I say it.
I know time flies. Like my cousin and I started our company when we were 22 and 18.
Oh, babies.
And I know I'll be 40 this year, and I'm like,
You're still a
dang.
baby.
Thank you for saying that. For all you out there saying that I'm old,
significantly old.
I ain't old. Okay. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about you just started out. Okay, because there's people out here that are wanting to start a business. They want this year to be better than last year. They even if they work for somebody, they want to become a peak performer at what they're doing. Okay. What are some easy steps that people can start? I mean, it sounds like you definitely wanted to carve your own path and figure your own path, which I think is very smart. I think there are traditional ways of doing roof sales or landscape or, you name the endeavor, but you really do have to find your own way.
Right.
You really have to
It's gotta work for you.
what are your strengths? Yeah, what are you good at? What connections do you have? What experience do you have? How can you lean on those wins in the past? I mean, these are all different things that one should think about. And what worked for Tiffany may not even work for you. So just take it, learn from it, apply it. So what are some things out of the gate that you're like year 1, year 2? I mean, because you were going from W-2 now to being a contractor, owning your own business, right? It's not the same.
Oh gosh,
it's different, right? I mean, we were talking.
There's no HR, there's no accounting. I'm it. That's it. You become all of it.
It starts and stops with you.
Right.
Okay. There is no somebody's motivating you. There's no if you don't show up to work, someone's firing you. You have to. Okay. So let's talk about the early time mentality shift. Did you read some books? Did you have a mentor? Like, what are some things that you did? Maybe that the audience can glean from. As they're maybe pursuing their side hustle, their side gig, they want to eventually start a business. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say the first thing I tell people is really have an open, honest conversation with yourself about what you want this to look like.
Great.
Like, what do you want this to look like? Because if you want this to be your side hustle where you're only paying for vacations with the money, that's one thing. It's going to look completely different. But
Which is totally fine.
Totally fine.
If that's what you want.
Totally fine. But you have to be open and honest with yourself about what that is. Once you figure out what you want it to look like, then we have to figure out, okay, what is it that you need to do? It's like you work backwards.
Listen, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He says work backward. Literally, you begin with the end in mind, he says, is the chapter.
Exactly. No different here. Shout out to Steve. But you have to figure out what is it that you need to do in order to get you to that point. And then the final step, which is the hardest step for anyone to do it. You got to do it. I mean, if you say you need to get up every single day and get yourself dressed, because you would do that for a W-2. Why would you not do that for a 1099? Like, if you're going to work 80 hours a week for your W-2, why would you not do that for yourself and you're a 1099?
Amen.
So once you figure out what it needs to look like and what you need to do, then you have to get up every single day and do it. And then I would say you have to find things that will help you perfect your craft. What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Who are you hanging out with? What, networking events are you going to? What groups are you in? Once you figure out, okay, these are the people that are doing the things that I want to do, and I need to kind of saddle myself alongside them and figure it out for me. So I'm going to take what I see them doing, and I'm going to translate that into what's going to be a better fit for me. And then do it. And that's the hardest part for anyone is the do it.
I cannot agree more. The biggest gap is between knowing and doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody has ideas. Everybody has, the next invention in their mind. I'm like, you got to work. And you know what? There is no great way. Just start. It's going to look terrible. It's not going to be great. Your first cold call will be bad. Your first networking event you're not going to be able to afford, whatever it is. You just have to start. I love that. I think that's beginning with the end in mind, knowing what you want. I think is super important. I think that is, and that's for anything. It translates across any industry.
It really just boils down to you being open and honest with yourself. And I'll tell agents that, come to me and they're just getting started, they have a W-2, because again, I started out as a, dual career agent. And how much time realistically can you devote to real estate each week? Like, what is it realistically?
Yeah.
If it's 2 hours, okay, great. Those 2 hours you need to go all in and do everything that you've said you're going to do in those 2 hours during those 2 hours. Because when you start going, oh, well, I'll do that later, or I'm not seeing any benefit, it's because the consistency isn't there. The minute you stop, you've just given up.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
Like, again, 1099 life is completely different than W-2 because there's someone that is going to tell you what time to show up, what you need to do while you're there, when you can go to lunch, what time you can leave, if there's anything you need to do after that, what you can wear, what you can't wear. And when you're 1099, you're establishing all of those things for yourself. What is your standard operating procedure? And if you don't go into this thinking about it like a business, that's when people fail.
Speaking of people failing, okay, what have you seen when people get into in this career as a career, or maybe even just a secondary side hustle, which is totally fine? What are some of these habits that you've seen people do? I'm sure over the years you have a team now. You know, you had mentioned to me before off camera, you have 11 people now,
11 agents,
part of the Sears Group. That's awesome, phenomenal. I love that, which we'll talk a little bit more about that as far as finding the right team, vetting the right team, training the right team, SOPs in place that you have. I love all that. But if we're looking to win, which we all are, you're not listening to this if you don't want to win, okay? And we want to avoid these bad habits. What are the things that you've seen, habits that you've had to change personally, habits in your team, people in general? What are some 1, 2, 3, habits, things that people should avoid like the plague if they are not going to win, especially in real estate, since that's what you know?
I would say number one is thinking that real estate is like what you see on TV. It is not. It is not at all what you would see on TV. And a lot of people have spent a good chunk of time watching $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset, and they're like, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and make all of this money. No, that's not it. Habits go back to that consistency. If you are not getting up every single day with a purpose in mind of, I'm going to work. If you don't do that, you're going to fail immediately. The lounging at home, I can get a load of laundry in right now. You're starting to like go into that, I'm just at home and I don't have anything to do, as opposed to I have work to do because it's a work day. And that's hard for people to really get their heads wrapped around.
Let me tell you a quick story about whenever we started. Okay, I very early, I don't know if I learned this, I probably read this or heard it somewhere, but sales solves everything. Okay, like you can make mistakes in your business as long as you have sales, you can recover. If you don't have sales, it'll put you out of business,
yes.
Okay? In my industry, at least, okay? So I did not know that. I mean, how much can a 22 and 18-year-old know about starting a distribution company or anything, okay? Nothing. All right. So we used to do what we called Movie Mondays. We used to get a little bit of work done, and we're like, you know what? That's great. Let's pop in a movie and start watching a movie on our laptop, or our computers.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, we didn't grow, okay? And it's so funny, like looking back now, because like now, like, I don't know. My employees will probably just say like I'm a savage when it comes to like getting new business now, and it's like, because I just know that I feel responsibility. We have 30 employees, so it's like I feel responsible for these people. Like they're cashing checks to pay their mortgage and putting their kids in daycare.
Yes.
Like I don't have the freedom or the ability to just lay off now. But it's just so funny how it's like, yeah, you're right. Like when you work for yourself and you have that much autonomy, you can fake yourself out into thinking like, let me get some chore. No. You're 9 to 5 at minimum working right now. Get out of the house. Go to a coffee shop. Go to an office. Get out of the comfort of what you know, right?
Or what
So-
you're used, like what you're
Or what
used
you're
to.
used to.
Right.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
My mother will call me at 2:00 on a Tuesday. What are you doing? Well, I'm working. Like, what do you think I'm doing?
I'll call you back, Mom.
I'm
Like,
working.
yeah.
And it's it's just funny because
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
people
yeah.
think when you own a business that you have the time to go. And yes, you can. I don't want people to think that
Yeah.
there's no fun in this, because there is fun
Sure.
in this. But there is also a lot of work, and if you don't treat it, my agents don't work for me, they work with me. And that's a difference that I think people have to really understand, is that you're 1099. I can't make you do anything. I'd like to sometimes, but I can't make you do anything
Yeah.
except follow the policies and procedures and align with what the real estate commission says that we have to do.
Sure.
But I really want them to put in place sort of that level of work ethic that is going to bring them what they say they want. And it goes back to what you want it to look like.
Yep.
Because again, if you tell me that this is just paying, for vacations, great.
Yeah.
But if you say that this is how you want to make your money, pay all your bills, feed your family, then that's going to look a little different.
Amen.
And I got to say, I would hope you would want to see the effort out of that.
Yeah, 100%. I always give the analogy of, if you get a membership to a gym, you can, on one end of the spectrum, feel a little better, which requires X amount of effort,
Right.
or you can become the next Mr. Olympia, which is a whole nother level,
yeah.
right? But
I'm not doing that.
with the same me neither. But with the same vehicle, like you said, you have to know what you want. With the
Right.
same vehicle, you can accomplish both. What do you want?
Right.
Right? And then
Be honest about it.
Yeah.
And I also think that it's important, if regardless of the situation of if you are married or not married, have kids, whatever it is, the people in your life that rely on you at any given point in time, you need to have a conversation with them about, I'm starting a business. Because and look for that support, because you may not be able to do the things that you used to do
You're preaching.
once you start a business. And you have to make sure that everyone in your life is on board with that, because there will be people that will look at you and go, well, why can't you go out Saturday night? Well, I've been showing houses all day. I just want to go home, take my shoes off, and rest.
Sure.
Or I don't understand why this is happening. The dishes haven't been done. The laundry hasn't been done, because I'm building this business and it takes a little bit more time than I thought it would. You have to have people in your life that are like, okay, you know what? I got you. I've got the dishes. I've got dinner. No, you go do your thing. How about I come hang out at the open house with you on Saturday? I'd love to spend some time with you. Like, if you have people in your corner, you will go so far. It's when you're like, okay, I'm not even going to have this discussion with you.
Yeah.
That can cause issues in a relationship.
Or depending on who obviously if it's a spouse, that's totally different, but friends, extended family, or listen, you may need to distance yourself from people that don't even understand that, right? Like, you've
Yes.
got to protect until you're strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet. You may have to protect that time, that mental energy,
Oh, yeah.
that effort. Like, it is kind of sacred.
It can drain you.
100%. So, who you have around you, I think, is important. One thing real fast, I want to kind of double click on what you said about the work thing. You cannot replace the work ethic. I don't care. I don't care if you're an AI and you are the most brilliant. If you understand, I don't care if you are the best crypto trader on the face of the planet. Doesn't matter the industry.
Right.
There is a work that anybody who has achieved anything of any amount, stature, anything, you will have to build.
I heard someone say once that you typically don't find success and easy in the same room.
Never.
And it just takes, and again, it doesn't bother me to work like this, because this is what I want.
Sure.
I know exactly what I want this to look like. I know what I want to build. I know what success is going to look like for me.
Yep.
It doesn't bother me.
Sure.
Some people may be like, oh no, I can't give that much time. I don't want to work every day. And I've worked every day the last 2 weeks. I haven't worked 8 hours every single day the last 2 weeks, but I've worked every single day the last 2 weeks. But I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, my family's perfectly fine with that. I'm also in a different phase of life. I don't have little kids at home. You know, I'm not trying to manage, you know, drop off and pick up at daycare or
soccer
you know,
practice,
soccer
ballet,
practice
whatever.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
My grandkids aren't even in the area, so I have to travel to go and hang out with them. But for me, this is my baby.
Yep.
This business is my baby, and
Sure.
I'm going to take care of it, and I'm going to nurture it, and I'm going to protect it like I would an actual human being.
Yep, I love that. I love that. Okay, so really good point so far. I really like know what you want. That's super important. Being honest with yourself, and you know what? Your answer. Don't say it because it's going to impress us, or it doesn't matter. It's your truth. It's your honesty. I love that. Taking action, right? I love that. Work ethic piece. I love that. Find the people, the systems around you. You know what I mean? I love all that. Okay. So let's fast forward. Okay. Let's get into the actual meat of real estate. What are you seeing over the last 8.5 years that's helped you build a company, build a team out? What does that look like? Finding, vetting people, give us, I mean, cause you went from a agency first.
Yes.
Okay. To 3-4 years ago, you started your own.
Yep.
That's correct.
I did.
The Sears Group, shout out. So what does that look like? Give us some thought process. What did you learn early on, being with, a bigger firm? Mm-hmm. What are some takeaways that you use there to apply to your business? Give us some context and how that looks.
Did start with a very large national brand, which most agents do. Because I don't think that they realize that there are other options, that there are smaller boutique brokerages out there that offer the same thing. The reputation of the firm I went with was all about the training. And my background in education, that was important to me. They don't teach you how to be a realtor in real estate school. They teach you how to stay out of real estate jail. That's all the laws, all those things. They don't teach you what you need to do in order to do this job. So I wanted to go someplace that really gave me that foundation. And sitting through the classes, I'm just like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. I don't know if this is going to be something that I'm comfortable doing. So I just started researching. You get on Google, you find successful agents, maybe in other places. Like Ryan Serhant, I will say it, he is phenomenal. And out of all of the real estate shows, Owning Manhattan is probably the most realistic as to what real estate looks like. Read all of his books, about personal branding, business branding, how you actually think about real estate from a entrepreneur perspective, as opposed to, okay, I work there. And you'll hear agents say, I work at this firm, I work at this. You work with that firm because you just hang your license there. You own your own business.
Yep.
What does that look like? So I really wanted to, first of all, I'll say I did not want to start a team. I wanted to be a solo agent just for the rest, just let me do my thing.
Yeah.
My husband got his license in 2020, and they automatically made us a team and made him the rainmaker. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm the one making the money here. He just started. Why does he get
What's
a
his name?
title? His name is Mark.
Mark.
Sears.
All right, Mark. You got dubbed the Rainmaker.
And that is how they deem it.
Okay.
So there's a rainmaker that's supposedly at the top of the food chain and how that works. But that was the time. I'm like, wait a minute. But I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And there were a couple of, newer agents that I was, helping through the process. And they would...
At the firm?
At the firm.
Okay.
I was not a team technically, even though I technically was a team, but I wasn't a team.
Okay, I understand.
And she came to me and she said, I want to join your team. Well, I don't have a team.
This new agent?
Yeah, well, what are you talking about? I don't have a team. You have a team. No, I don't. I don't have a team.
Yeah.
You are a team. I don't have a team. I'm a solo agent.
So now when she's saying that, she's saying, I like how you do things. I'm learning from you. I can see you as a potential mentor for me. I don't want to do this on my own.
So
I would like to join. I'd like to hook my caboose up to your train. Is that kind of like what she's saying in those words?
In so many words. So for all agents that had not produced a certain volume, they would have to go through a coaching program. That coaching program required them, on top of their split with the firm, to pay an additional amount to be a part of that for every transaction they had. And she came to me and she was like, hey, you do that for me. You're already coaching me. You're already giving me mentorship. Can I just join your team and I'll just do that for you? I don't have a team.
So do you think that maybe became natural for you because of your background in teaching and helping?
I think so.
And it just was like, hey, I just want to help this new person.
I just want to help. And so finally I was like, okay, fine. What are we going to do? And really created a structure where even though there had to be a split with me as the team lead, they were taking home the majority of their money, they were producing, and then it eventually turned into 4 other agents coming on board onto this team. And as we thought more about it, and sitting at literally my dining room table with the agent that came to me first and my husband, like, why are we doing this with this big national brand and having to pay an additional franchise fee when that could be staying in your pocket? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why don't we just do our own thing?
Sure.
And that's what happened. We already had the legal structure in place because of how we had to set ourselves up as a team. It just became the branching out and separating ourselves and becoming completely independent. So we're not a franchise. We are not connected to any national brand. We are a completely independent boutique firm here in Charlotte.
Love that. Okay.
So locally owned, minority owned, woman owned, that is who we are.
Love it. Okay. What are some things that you've learned about building out a team, vetting people, coaching people, mentoring people, that if somebody wants to join a team or have a good protege mentor relationship with, what are some things that you've learned throughout the last whatever X number of years that that you're looking for, or that makes a good real estate agent?
Well, I think I had the hardest thing for me, and it was similar to when I was a classroom teacher, that I had to come to terms with the fact that everyone's life isn't like mine at home. Mm. So even though I've taught my children certain things, I can't automatically expect every other child that comes into my classroom to have that same upbringing, background, because every parent's different, every household is different, everything is different. So I don't necessarily know what that child went through on their way into the classroom, so I can't expect always the same thing. It was like literally life altering because you approach each child differently, very individualistic. It just changes everything on how you perceive things. You can become really more one-on-one and engaging with that child. As an adult in real estate, I had to come to terms with everyone doesn't have my same work ethic. Mm-hmm. Everyone doesn't want the same thing out of real estate that I want. And once you figure out what that is, which is why I'm always big on saying you have to have this open, honest conversation with yourself first.
Sure.
What is it that you want? Once you can articulate that to me, I can help you get to wherever it is that you want to be. I just need you to be honest about what it is that you want out of this.
Yeah.
And that takes time for folks because they don't necessarily know what they want.
Yeah.
They just know it looks good.
Sure.
And they're like, I think I want that, until they realize what it takes to get that. And then you're like, all right, that's what you said you wanted. Where are you on Thursday? You said you were coming to this training session. I don't see you. So that's been the hardest thing, is just getting people to understand, okay, how do you get to where you want to be authentically?
Yep.
Because there are a lot of agents. There are a ton of agents out there. And if you aren't thinking and interviewing as the consumer, you should be interviewing agents, making sure it's a good fit for you. They don't. And a lot of times they hop on Zillow and they click that little button and they get connected with someone, and that person really is only thinking about it from the transaction standpoint.
Yeah.
They paid to be there. That's not how I want to operate. We are, we build relationships with the people that we work with, and we've had success with that.
I love that. I mean, being honest, knowing what you want. It takes me back to, I don't know if you've ever read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. He's famous for Think and Grow Rich. Obviously, that's kind of like the most famous. But he talks about just people not knowing what they want, and he talks about like that is the easiest way to fail is just being on a boat without a rudder and just he calls it drifting.
Yeah.
And it's like that, when you know what you want. I mean, even I think Think and Grow Rich mentions this, that when you have a definite major purpose and you know what you want, like the world literally gets out of your way and helps you accomplish that thing. But most people do not know what they want.
And it's mindset. And I think that that's a big thing with people is that they have to have that shift. They have, from W-2 to 1099 is huge. That's
Talk about the book
shift.
that you said you read, Ryan's book about that,
Oh my gosh. So
what was it called? What's that book
so
called?
They're Sell It Like Sirhan and Brand It Like Sirhan. So
Okay.
there's another one, but those two I think are the most important because it really does give you this perspective on understanding that you are, as an entrepreneur, a brand. What we do is we don't really have a product.
You are the product.
We are the product. The home, the transaction, the sale is the byproduct of that. So if someone isn't okay with us, if they can't connect with us, they're not going to want to work with us. So we have to, first of all, we have to figure out who we are and show up authentically like that. And that's hard for some people because they don't have a really good understanding of who they are. And I'm at a particular point in my life, a woman of a particular age, and I am by far more comfortable in my skin now than I was at 25.
Sure.
You couldn't pay me to go back to 25. I mean, it's completely different. And when you think about building a brand, that has to come from authenticity. You cannot build a brand based on what someone else is doing. You have to build your individual personal brand on you and what matters to you, your integrity, your ethics, all of those things, and people gravitate towards that.
Yeah, I love that. I think, speaking of Ryan, not to shout him out, but his books, I think reading is a big part, so I know off camera, we talked about reading and how important that is. And, you're reading another book right now about real estate. So always constantly growing, changing, developing, passing ideas. I think this is a huge part. Would you agree on that?
Reading and if you can't get into the whole, let me sit down with a book, find a good podcast. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Find a good podcast.
Paper Trail, subscribe, baby. Let's
Find
go.
a good podcast that will help give you the nuggets. We get emails left and right every single day about any sort of class that you can take. Take this class on Instagram, take this class on TikTok, how to build followers, how to do this. We get them every single day. And I tell our agents, okay, you know what? If this is something that you want to work on, let's just say it's a class on LinkedIn and this is what you want to do. Take the class. They're probably going to try to sell you something in there.
Yeah.
But get one or two good nuggets out of it.
Sure.
And if you do that, then it was worth the hour that you spent taking the class. Always grow your business by finding information that's going to help. If there's a class, show up. If you're interested in a certain niche market, find information on that market and go for it.
I love that. Okay. So we went over a lot: reading, educating yourself, being around the right people, work ethic. I think it's all tremendous. Your poster says HGTV House Hunters featured on. Tell us a little about, HGTV we all know is like the big home makeover real estate.
TV, yeah.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. What was that like? What did you do on there? Give us a little context.
When I got into real estate, I believe in vision boards and putting it out there, things
Me
that
too.
you want. You got to see it, you got to know it, you got to live it every single day.
Okay.
And I had on my vision board that I wanted to be on House Hunters. I love House Hunters, everything about it, all of them. Doesn't matter how. House Hunters International is fantastic.
Which one is House Hunters again? Remind me. What is it? Is it you have a customer and then you show them? So you show the process of buying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they choose the home. It's wonderful.
Okay, gotcha.
And I forgot about it because life starts. And a few years ago, I said, wait a minute, let me go back to that because I want to be on House Hunters. And did the research, did the application, got called for an interview, which was on camera. And they were like, okay, you're good. Send us your clients. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know if I thought that through, that I was actually going to be on TV and cameras and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Since several of my clients, we had two that came through and got through the process to actually film. It was fantastic. We had the best time.
Okay.
The best time. Going back to building a brand, I actually had someone call me. We were featured in Charlotte Observer and Axios and all sorts of local media, and chatting me up about real estate and buying a home. And I was like, okay, great. Can we connect again? She was like, we'll see. And the episode aired that Friday night. She called me Saturday morning and she said, here's all my info. I'm sending it over. Let's go. I just needed to make sure you had personality. So it really has helped build our business because people can see that this is kind of how I am. It's not just
fake or
it's
the
not
shit.
fake,
Yeah.
This is how I am.
Yeah.
But my clients have been amazing. One of the sets are actually, I sold her townhome when she was just thinking about it, and wound up getting married, having a baby, and I sold them their home together as a family. So it really does help when you've got good people to work with. But I'm looking for buyers that want to be on House Hunters. Call me.
Who wants to be on House Hunters? All right.
Let's do it.
So I love that. Okay. All right. As we're wrapping up, tell us about the state of real estate right now. How is it? What are you seeing? I know interest levels were really, really, really low. Now they're a little bit more higher than low. Give us just what are you seeing in the market? Are you optimistic? Is it
I'm
case?
always
Is it?
optimistic.
Me too. Is it case by case? Just give us.
Okay.
Obviously the best is to have an individual person where you can sit down and talk to because everybody's
different.
Exactly.
Everybody's different.
Okay, so depending on where you're at, how long you want to stay, right? So there's a lot of, but give us just what are you seeing? Having a team, seeing options, getting emails. What are you seeing in the market right now? And we are middle of March of 2026.
I will say the first thing that people always want to know is how's the market? Like what, and they equate that to interest rates. That's going to vary. I mean, people want to go back to 2.75, 3.0. We were in the middle of a global pandemic. It was an anomaly.
Yeah.
The average interest rate that is considered a good interest rate is about 6.5%.
I would have guessed 6.
Historically.
I would have guessed 6.
Historically.
Yeah.
So when we think about what was going on when we had that, I mean, if we go back to that, again, we were in the middle of a global pandemic. We also had homes that had 30, 40 offers on them. You were fighting. People were paying significantly.
How
over
wild
list.
was that?
It was the Hunger Games. It was absolutely insane. And I don't know if people really want to go back to that because it was hard for a lot of buyers that didn't have a huge amount of cash flow. Because once you pay your due diligence fee, which is non-refundable here in North Carolina, and it was significant during that time. People were paying tens of thousands of dollars. Can you play the game again? So when we think about that, it's really difficult to say, yeah, that was a great time. But now we're looking at a situation where even still, two people with the exact same credit score are looking at the exact same house with the exact same debt to income may have a completely different monthly payment because one person has a ton of insurance claims and their homeowner's insurance is through the roof. So you're not going to have the same. Everything is different. Your financial situation may look different. There are all sorts of options out there. You can buy the rate down. There are lender credits. If you're thinking new construction, there are all sorts of incentives. So there's stuff out there to help not only bring the interest rate down, but also help with down payment and closing costs. So I wouldn't let that be a deterrent for people that the interest rate is not what it was in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
We are still in a buyer's market. So we have inventory, but we don't have, buyers are taking their time.
Yeah.
They're looking around, they're trying to get the best deal. Homes are sitting on the market longer, and we're seeing sellers offer seller concessions depending on their particular situation with equity in the home to help buyers out. So we're seeing movement. I've got a lot of clients that are relocating to the area. We are seeing companies that are coming, like Scout Motors is coming in around the corner. We're seeing that movement here. People are flocking to Charlotte because, it's a fantastic place to live. We've got we can have all 4 seasons in one day, but I still think that that's great weather. I mean, it's freezing this morning. It's going to be 85 this afternoon.
This is true. This is true.
Just keep jacket, flip-flops in the car. You'll be fine. But because we see so many people moving here, I would say it's still a great opportunity if you're looking to get into real estate. And it all depends on what you want out of it. So is this your forever home? Is this a home you're going to live in for 4 or 5 years and then turn it into your first investment property? What is the goal?
Yeah.
Same thing with getting into business. What is the end game?
What do you
and
want?
Then we can figure out what's going to be the best for you. And once we do that, let's figure out how we're going to save you the most money or get the most money for you if you're on the sell side.
I love that. I guess lastly, if someone's looking at maybe wanting to buy a house in the future, what are some things they can prepare for now? What are some things, be diligent about saving money because you'll need a down payment, working on your credit? What are 2, 3, 4, 5 things? What are your thoughts, generally speaking, on someone's coming to you and they're like, I'm not buying now, but I want to build a relationship with somebody. Give me some advice over the next 4 or 5 years. What do I need to do to get myself in a great position to be able to buy the house that I want then?
Now, I will say 4 to 5 years is like another lifetime in real estate.
2 years, I don't know.
We have no idea what 4 or 5 years is. We barely know what 6 months are going to look like.
I'm sure there's some good general practices that you really recommend.
First of all, I think you really need to get a good understanding of your personal financial situation. What is your credit? How much debt do you have? Do you have a 401k that can be used for your down payment? Most can. You just have to figure out how you can, take that money out for it. All right, what's the goal for the real estate? Like we talked about, is this your forever home? Because that's going to look different than an investment property. I have a client that's moving here from a different state. And they said, this is going to be our home for 3 years, and then we're going to look at renting it. Okay, then we need to look at this from a different perspective. Where is going to get you the most rental income in 3 years? Because where you think you might want to be, based on research that they've done online,
that's a good point.
Is probably not going to get you the most ROI for that return on investment for that property if you're thinking turning it into a rental. I would say just also make sure that you have a good understanding of locations. Like, what is important to you? Do you need to be in a walkable area? Do you need to be close to a school or work? Where do you need to be? Because that's going to make a huge difference. Do you want new construction? Because the timing will make a huge difference. If you're doing a ground up build or true custom home, we're at 8 months to 16 months. So if you're thinking, okay, I want to buy in 2 years, if you're wanting to do a custom home, we need to start that now.
Yeah.
We need to find the land, we need to find the builder, because it's going to take us that long with permits and clearing and all of those things to get you where you need to be. So all of those factors will go into really having a good process.
I love that. I agree with all that. I think financial literacy is something that people maybe need to put a little more effort into, capping debts, getting rid of debt, not using the plastic bridges, AKA credit cards, to pay, because then you're just getting eaten up with interest, and you're just making those guys more wealthy and richer.
People are okay with paying 28% interest for a credit card, but not 7% interest for a home.
This is true. It's interesting. You're good point there. Good point there. So I love all that. I love all that.
Oh, I have one other tip.
Go ahead. Tell them.
Call me.
Let's talk.
Call me, because if you're not ready now, we can help you get into a place that you are ready and you're comfortable with it. So talk to a really reputable realtor.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Tiffany, I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you.
Sears Group, season 5, episode 5. You had some really, really good points here that I thought can really translate into literally anybody's situation. And so you guys are located in south end of Charlotte.
Yes, we are.
You guys have, I'm assuming, some website, social media, something that people can follow.
Yes.
And reach out.
The Sears Group, LLC.com. We are licensed in North and South Carolina, so give us a buzz.
Give them a call. Fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a couple things, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.